Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Thanks to Chris for this one. Amy controls the Nature's Revolt and a snow-covered wastes. Then Nick plays a dress down. Can she still tap this land for mana? Would it count as snow mana? Okay, so to answer this question, I'll first switch to this version here, and this is currently the only version of Snow-Covered Wastes that actually matches its Oracle text. The other version disguised this fact, but as you can see, the Snow-Covered Wastes actually does have an ability that lets it tap for mana. If it loses that ability, well then you can't tap it for mana. It would be just like if you had a Llanowar Elves out that lost all of its abilities. Well, what about this Snow-Covered Forest? No, not that one. Yeah, it turns out that if you look it up, the no-text version is actually correct this time, but the answer is exactly the same as before. If you animate a snow-covered forest and play a dress down, then you cannot tap that land for mana either. The reason snow-covered forest can tap for mana even though it has no abilities printed on it is that any land with a basic land type inherently has the ability to tap for mana of the associated color. But yes, you heard that right, it has the ability to tap for mana. Dress down can take away any kind of abilities, whether they're inherently part of the card, added by some other effect, or even added by the comprehensive rules. In case you're wondering, Wastes is not a basic land type. Snow-Covered Wastes actually does not have any land types at all, and that's why they needed to write the ability on this card, even though they didn't need to do that for the other Snow-Covered basics. Well, we still need to answer the second part of our question, so let's really get rid of some abilities. Yep, if you want to remove abilities from a land, nothing works better than good old reliable Blood Moon. Except that actually doesn't affect Snow-Covered Wastes at all. See, Blood Moon only applies to non-basic lands, but Snow-Covered Wastes is a basic land. It says basic right there on the type line. Yeah, that's true even if there's a Nature's Revolt out. Changing a card's card types does not affect its super types at all. Same thing goes with the Snow-Covered Forest. Well, not that one. Seriously, I can give you a pass on the Ice Age version because super types as a thing wasn't really invented yet, but what's your excuse here, Wizards? Okay, so like I was saying, basic is a super type. Anything that has that super type is a basic land, and basic lands, which Snow-Covered Wastes and Snow-Covered Forest both are not affected by Blood Moon. So what about this Volatile Fjord here? It's definitely not a basic land because we can see that the word basic isn't anywhere on the type line, and while there's a Blood Moon out, it'll be a mountain. Well, I mean, it's a mountain all the time, but Blood Moon makes it so it's just a mountain. It isn't an island anymore. So it can only tap for red. But will that red mana be snow mana? Well, the answer here is yes, with a small asterisk for the well actually crowd. See, it turns out there's actually no such thing as snow mana at all, by which I mean that snow is not a color or type of mana. The snow mana symbol that you see on cards like Archon's Astrolabe and Thermopod represents a cost that can be paid with 1 mana of any type that was produced by a snow source. Remember that we said basic lands were still basic even if their card types or subtypes changed because basic is a super type? Well, guess what's also a super type? Yep, legendary. And also snow, which is more relevant to the discussion here. Even though Volatile Fjord's subtypes have changed, its super types remain the same, and that means that even with a Blood Moon out, it still is a snow land, so mana it produces can be used to pay for those snow costs. Honestly, for such a basic topic, there's actually a ton of possibility for confusion here. People talk about reworking the rules around continuous effects all the time, but that topic is necessarily complicated because of how many moving parts there are. It's really difficult to fix something without breaking something else even worse. Meanwhile, I think we really could shore up a lot of unintuitive stuff if we had a hard look at the type line and the templating decisions surrounding it. In the meantime, remember to always carefully read the current wording of the card and the comprehensive rules before making a ruling. That's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.